Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to our next session of the day here. We have OasisLMS here with us, and then we've got Rusticy next, and then day one will be all done. So I'm going to hand it over to Sammy here, who's going to walk us through what Oasis has been up to. So can take it away.
Thanks so much, Jess. And I realized I go by Sam usually, but I realized I was messing around with this and called myself Sammy, so I like that. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Okay. And Jess will come in and tell me if I'm not sharing, but everyone should see ASAE Demo. So, well, I guess a little bit about me. I'm Sam Hirsch, Vice President of Sales and Marketing. But let's talk about you all. So this is not going to be death by PowerPoint. I've just got a couple key things I want you to know about us that is not related to the product. One is we are still privately owned. We are founder-led. We are not public, nor are we owned by private equity. We do not plan to sell to private equity or anything like that. So still privately held. And the other thing that I can't demo is our support. We are really well known for support, but I can show some screenshots from our Zendesk. So as you can see, you know, in the last, when we took this screenshot, the last 30 days, our average reply time was 29 minutes, right? But think about this. This is averaging out on all the weekends, people putting tickets at 2 a.m. in the morning. And importantly, our full resolution time, meaning like, no, not just that we responded to you, but we responded and resolved the issue and you said solved, was just under 2 hours. So happy to show more of this if we do a demo. But again, we're really well known for our support. So with that, I am going to go on over to the demo. So now everyone should be seeing NAPFA. And let me hide this little guy here. So what I'm going to do is, you know, put yourself in your learners, your members' shoes. So what do people see, and, you know, how do they find the LMS in the first place? Once they're there, how do they browse? How do they log in? So that'll probably be with your AMS. And then, you know, I'll start going through some courses and then some interesting reports, AI, etc. And everyone just drop, I can't see it, but just drop questions in the chat. I will leave time to answer those. So this is one of our clients, NAPFA. This is their website. And from their website, I'm going to click on what they call the Learning Center, just what they call it. And now I've actually left their website and I'm now in OasisLMS. So from a branding standpoint, we can look very similar to your website to give kind of a seamless experience. Now, this would be where your learners could potentially browse. Oasis is templated with widget-based system, so each template is highly configurable. So this is just one example of a client site. So in this example, right, there's a search bar. They've created these search criteria, CE type, interest area, product type. These are all made up, so you can create as many of these as you would like, and then, you know, tag them as you see appropriately. And then this client, you know, is very image-based, right? Live courses, on-demand, podcasts, etc. But like I said, just one example. This client, they've got what we call the fat banner on top, some criteria here to search, but theirs is a little bit more Netflix style. So these are kind of their different categories. So you can imagine, you know, horror movies, comedy movies, etc. And I'll scroll over and I'll click into patient safety. And then they have a subcatalog of showing, you know, editor picks, safety principles. And so again, this is all configurable. And one final example, this is for folks who maybe you don't have a ton of education, but this client actually has just 3 products. And so they're basically showing, hey, here's product offering 1, 2, 3, and in between, you know, a bunch of, you know, calls to action. And then at the bottom, they show those same courses again, but they actually do subscriptions. And so we do have subscriptions that automatically renew. They're not just a package you buy and then the learner has to buy it again. They will auto renew unless someone opts out of it. So let's say somebody has stumbled upon a course in a non-logged in state and they say, the ITE, I want to take this. Well, now we're going to say, okay, well, you've got to log in. So I'm going to click login here. Now we're going to kick them over to the AMS. And so that's where they'll log in, or if they have to create an account, that's all going to happen in the database of record. Then it's going to spit me back. Right? And now I could add it to my shopping cart. In this case, I'm not. Instead, I'm going to go and view my cart here. Right, so I've got a couple things in my shopping cart. This is not always possible, but this client's membership is very easy. So you can actually upgrade to their membership right in the LMS or add it to the shopping cart, and then it automatically shows you the discount. You could enter promo codes. And then we do have the ability in the vast majority of AMSs to have the purchasing take place out of the LMS. And just so everyone knows real quick, if you go to our website /partners right under company and go on AMS CRM, this is a list of all the different AMSs we have integrated with. List is not exhaustive. We've integrated with custom databases, etc. But I almost always get a question on these. Do you integrate with my database? And the answer is almost always yes, or we can. And then so just to go back here, this particular integration is a little bit more advanced. So it's pulled over the shopping cart from the LMS into the AMS checkout. And my wife would kill me if I bought, $1,700 worth of stuff I don't need. So I'm not going to do that. But I could finish the payment and then it would redirect me, or there'd be a button to redirect me back to the courses. Finally, you may have questions. Can we get data back to the AMS or CRM? And the answer is yes, we can certainly do that. All right, so let's go to my demo site here and pull up some sample courses. So here's an example of a course. You put the title here. There's things like favoriting. Once I actually took it, I could give it a star review, and that could be turned off or on. Now, these tabs here, session information, presenters, recommended, this is made up. So on a per course basis, you can configure that. So instead of session information, it could be called, general info course. You could add in learning objectives, disclosures, whatever you need. And within it, this is what's called a rich text editor. So you have full control over what's in here. So let's go over here, add this to my cart. So I just showed before e-commerce out of the AMS. We do natively also have our own e-commerce. Again, things like promo codes. You'll see we're automatically showing, hey, if I were a non-member, if I were a member rather, I would have saved $20 because I'm in as a non-member now. So we can do member, non-member pricing. And I'll proceed to checkout here. You can try and steal my information, but I'm going to be putting in, this is a payment process, a fake payment processor, so it won't work. But we work with, I think, 8 different payment processors, and we're always adding more. So on the back end, Stripe, Payflow Pro, whoever would actually, get your money, and we don't take a cut of that. All right, so let's dive into the course. So this is just one example of a course, not shown here, but we all are fully SCORM compliant. You can upload PDFs, audio, etc. This is a video because I know this is very common. So let me go ahead and click play. Now, with videos in our system, you can prevent fast forwarding. You can also require people watch a minimum time. You can allow speeding up. And then we also offer automatic closed captionings in English. So with AI, it'll automatically caption it. And then we include up to 3 languages total for free in other languages. So if you needed it in, say, Spanish and Portuguese, you could do that. And we have 100+ languages to choose from. And then if you want lots of languages, there's just some fees associated with that. Now, let me move this back to English. On the side here, you'll notice there's a transcript. So say someone watched a video and they said, this is just what I wanted. This is amazing. Well, I could actually search here, and it'll take me to, the exact keyword I'm looking for. So now we'll start an exam. And again, this is just one example of how a course could be set up. There's many other ways. I'll go through probably a more robust example, but we have really robust testing engine. We do have people doing board prep out of our system, board prep exams. Surveys people can do. All the standard types of questions you would imagine somebody would need. And then I can claim credit. In this case, there's 2 types of credit I could claim now. You can choose how many. If you have multiple, you can do subcredits like under CPE or CLE, there might be ethics credit. You can have enemy credits. So a doctor claims CME, they cannot get CN as in Nancy, CNE for a nurse, and so on. I'll go ahead and claim this credit here. And get the certificate. And this will be, obviously your branding and no limit to how many certificates are in this system. All right, so let's go here. This is an example of a live course, so an online meeting. So let's click Get Started. I can add it to my calendar. Oasis will send email reminders. You can choose what those say and when those go out. And if it were actually July 1st, well, one, I'd be a lot warmer and happier. But anyways, I could click this Join Meeting button. So I'm not going to click it. Instead, I'm going to copy the address. So this is where it would take me if I had clicked it. And you'll see it is to Zoom. So we can work with multiple tools. With Zoom, we have the deepest integration. So you can set up the event in Oasis and it will push it to Zoom. On top of that, you can track, you could say, oh, they need to be in Zoom a minimum amount of time, like 30 minutes, and we will get that information from Zoom. You could even say, hey, they need to do at least 3 polls in order to move on to the next step in the system, and we can read that information as well from Zoom. All right, and then every learner is going to get their own transcript so they can see, all the credit they've earned, and there can be multiple types of CE, download any certificates again, filter, all that good stuff. Now, real quick, I'm going to go to admin and log in as another version of myself. This is what we call the coordinator view. So this is a use case where it might be like the head of HR, the manager wants to buy for their employees and then track their progress. You can, via integration, automatically control that. So we have this concept called vouchers. So I'm going to purchase a voucher. So I would choose what course I wanted. And then I would choose, let's say I want to buy for 15 employees. Now you'll notice this discount kicked in here. That's a custom rule I created. Right, so a quantity between 10 and 20, you get a discount by 10%. So that's something our clients can do. And then I would buy the vouchers, and I won't buy them here, but you'll see I've got a bunch I've already received. So I can assign them to my people. I can give them a direct link, which has the voucher included. And then there is also the ability to upload users. Now, this gets more complex when you have an AMS, which I'm sure most of you do. We've had all those edge cases and have worked through those before, so it's absolutely something we support. And then as the manager, I can track, what are my users taking, what courses. I could even track, let's say I want to look at one user in particular. I could see exactly what courses they've done, even their results on, say, like a practice exam. We also support digital badging. This is included in our system. It is not an additional charge with an integration. So you'll see here on this site, there's all these badges that are available, in progress, or that I've earned. And it's like the normal digital badging. So I'll click into earned. I could share it on LinkedIn, copy the link to put it in my email. But I can also have view the badge, and this is where it'll show that it's the verified. So, who was issued by, if there was an expiration date, when it was issued, etc. One quick note, if I've got any folks in the CME world, we are a premier technology partner of ASAE CME. I don't want to go into it now to bore everyone, but we do have a PARS integration. And you'll see we're listed first right here. And if anyone can guess why we're listed first, it's just because it's alphabetical. So I'm going to move now for the next 5 to 10 minutes to talk about some reports and AI. So here's an example of an exam report. We have a really robust testing engine, which I probably won't get time to show. Let's go back. Here is an evaluation report. But the more interesting thing is this analysis and insight. So in our system, when you see this magic wand, that means AI is involved. And so AI is automatically summarizing the survey, and you can even customize the prompt if you want. Another really, I mean, we've got 200 reports, but another really interesting one is our Search Insights report. So anytime somebody searches in this search bar here, in any of our sites, we are picking that up. So we will understand, we will, just like Google, we'll know what people are searching, and we'll share that raw data. And then with AI, we can give you insights. So basically what's working, but also areas of opportunity. So we might say, you know, hey, people are searching for fingers, but you don't have any courses on fingers. And maybe that's, you know, how you do a gap analysis. I did talk to somebody who that was how they were going to apply to a grant, was to show, hey, I can prove we've got people searching for this, but, you know, we don't have any courses on this. Now let's go over here. We do have some different AI agents, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. You'll see these are grayed out. These are still being worked on. I think the tentative launch time is end of second quarter, so we're getting pretty close. The data analyst, this is basically like, imagine you took all your LMS data and uploaded it into ChatGPT or Copilot, whatever LLM you use, and you could have a conversation with it. And so you not only can you say like, who were my top users, but why do you think that? So, you know, top users, right? That's easy to get. Why do you think that? That's true analysis, right? That's not just a report you would pull. And so you'll see this is a true agent, and it's really going to think it through. Usually takes a minute or two, and then you can have a conversation with it. I will not bore us with this, but I will exit out. Let's go back. I'm just going to point out the marketing guru is something that's going to be interesting. I recently did a webinar about marketing, because I do our marketing as well as some sales. And so the idea behind this is to make the front matter, so where you put like the course name, the information, more searchable for both SEO and AEO. AEO means things like ChatGPT, the LLMs picking it up. And there's kind of some short tricks for whatever reason, LLMs like bullet points, more like structured data, and that's the idea behind the marketing guru. And then the question writer, right now we have AI that can write quiz questions for you, but they're surface level, level 1. The question writer is intended to write board level exam questions. So let's talk about some of the tier 3 ones. So I am going to go to Amazon. This is not our product. This is Amazon.com, but there's something called Rufus here. What Rufus is, it's a way to find products, right? Because, you know, there's millions of products. So I would say, find me a gift for my wife, necklace under 300. And now Rufus is going to do a little thinking, and it's going to recommend some necklaces to me. And so this way people are searching is much different than the traditional Google search, which we've all been accustomed to. So why am I telling you this? Well, I'm going to go to Oasis University. We have the exact same thing we call the librarian. So people might search, I'm looking for a course with 3 CME and is going to help me become a better father. I don't know, I'm making this up, right? And it will find courses for them. And then again, you can have a conversation. But so I'm going to say, find me a course on how to build an exam. Now we are in Oasis University. Oh, let me log back in. We're in Oasis University. So everything is about Oasis. Let me go back here. All right. And so now you can see it's showing me the different courses that it would recommend, or just one in this case. Now, something else interesting we built is what we call our knowledge chatbot. So this isn't to help me find a course, it's to give me an answer, right? So I'm a construction worker, I need to do this type of building, you know, how should I go about it? In this case, I'm going to ask, how do I build an exam? And again, we're in Oasis University, so that's why I'm asking these questions. So this is what's called fenced in data. It will only look at the courses in your system and the content in your system. So that's important. Won't look outside of it. We did have subject matter experts test this who were doctors. So obviously that's very high stakes, and they gave it the thumbs up. And so the most, I think, critical part, besides it being fenced in, is at the end, it will actually give you the source. And so the source will take you back to the course, whether it's a video, PDF, etc. Right? So I can see, oh, it got it exactly from 0 seconds to 36 seconds in this video, and I can watch it right now. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, why am I going to give my learners all this? They're never going to pay for my courses. And that's what happened when we released this a couple of years ago. No one wanted to use it for that reason. So we've made it a lot more portable. So, right, it can only be associated with a package. And, if you buy the courses, then you get it. Or it's only associated by member type, etc. So there is a lot more flexibility with that. And then let me just go back here. The AI tutor, I'm not going to show today, but that's basically for high stakes exams. It's a tutor on a per question basis. And then the guidance counselor, which is coming out soon, that would be an example where it'd be a chatbot. And I say, hey, I want to get better at this competency. And then it's going to kind of recommend courses and follow my journey. So all that is coming soon, but we do have a lot of fun AI stuff right now. So I think I've got 2 more minutes. So I think I am going to get to show you some advanced exams. So if anybody's on Crowd Wisdom now, we have something very similar, but I would say probably better than like the Himalaya engine. And that's obviously, I believe, being sunset. And so we have something I like to call it like choose your own adventure. So you've got a major exam and you want to sell a practice exam. And so as a learner right now, I am choosing, my own adventure. So I could do learning mode or exam mode. Learning mode is basically I get the answer after each question. I can pick the categories that I'm interested in. So you can obviously categorize your questions. I can choose how many questions I want. I can choose, do I want easy, random, or hard questions? This is based on real data. So anyone else who's taken these questions, if like somebody got if everybody got one of them wrong, that is now the hardest question. I can give myself times to simulate a real exam, track confidence level, right? And now I've got my little practice exam, which I'm going to roll through very quickly. Right? And so I can see I got my score. I can, of course, review anything I want. And then, I can see my confidence score. So I'm a little too cocky. But what's nice is then I can see my exam history. And if you turn it on, even compare myself to my peers by category. So again, we have really robust exam engine. If anybody's doing board prep or anything, we do on the back end have a way to assign faculty or SMEs to write a question, and then a multi-review step with a change log and all that good stuff. So we do have people creating the exams natively out of our system. So I am going to pause here because I want to see if there's been any questions. So I'm going to stop sharing. I think I did get some questions. Oh my goodness. Okay, Tobin says, hey, I love the bow tie. I didn't need to read that, but I just wanted to. And it does say Oasis here, which you might not be able to see. Tobin asked, what would you say is your sweet spot in terms of potential clients? Is there a certain type of learning program that best matches your LMS? Great question, Tobin. Really, all associations work with us. The ones who have the more complex CE needs are like we're even more of a sweet spot. The ones who have high stakes exams, that's even more of a sweet spot, but we'll range anyone from, lawyers and accountants, right? So the CLE, CPE space to, a bread and butter of ours of CME because we're ACCME accredited, CNE and all that good stuff. Suzanne asked, is Oasis SCORM compliant? Yes, Suzanne, we are fully SCORM compliant. Tobin, can you include check-ins that unobtrusively prove attendees are tuned in? Well, I don't know about unintrusively, but we do have within videos, you can have pop-ups that just say, are you paying attention? or they can actually be quiz questions themselves. Mark asked, can you handle complex custom profile fields and text registrations without an AMS? Great question, Mark. Yes. Let me see if I actually have it. This is not going to be a great example, Mark, but hopefully you get my example. So we require these 5 pieces of data, but then right here you'll see user profile. So you can create any custom fields, and to show you, like, this is a drop down. So if you need like drop downs, multi-select, form fill out, like that, it can be part of the user profile fields that you create. And you know what? I just realized I wasn't sharing my screen. I'm going to do that one more time. This is what I was showing. So this is the local login. And at the bottom here, Mark, you can see there's this custom question, but you can have as many different types of custom questions that you would like. All right, let me stop sharing again. Aaron asks, can you have credits automatically earned as well? Yeah, Aaron, you don't have to necessarily click that button. Some accrediting bodies require that. But no, it can automatically, once I do say the evaluation or whatever the final step is, claim the credit. All right. Aaron, if we already have digital badging through a third party, do you offer support in transferring current data to the LMS? Yeah, we could do that. That'd be what we call historical migration. So that's absolutely something we could do. Erica asked, for voucher purchases, if we run e-commerce through our AMS, is this an option to use? If our catalog is also outside the LMS, would that limit our ability to use the AI agents? Okay, so 2 questions. If you run the e-commerce through the AMS, there is a way where basically the most complex way that we've done before is something would be purchased in the AMS like a voucher code, and then that would show up in our system. So say 10 voucher codes, and then the boss, whoever is what we call coordinator, would then be able to distribute them to their employees. Kathy agreed. We're also in Erica's position. Our store is controlled by our AMS. So yeah, so exactly like what I just said. Do you have support for hosting webinars, live streams, and virtual conferences? Kelly asked that. Yes, absolutely. We are not the live stream product itself, but we would integrate with those. Kathy asked a really good question. Can David, which was our AI knowledge bot, read content in SCORM packages? Not yet, but by the end of June, that's what we're building. So that was one of the agents as a SCORM reader because SCORM is kind of a black box. And that's one of the things we're doing. Let's see. Trace, thank you. You're going to integrate with IMIS, Trisha? Absolutely, yes. Many a time. Mark asked, is a free trial available? Mark, not typically, but I'm putting in my email here, so feel free to reach out to me. And I can set something up for you. So I think any more, I ran through those questions really quickly, so I apologize. But if I didn't get to your question or you want more information, email me. I just dropped it in, samuel.hirsch@360factor.com. Would love the opportunity just to chat, even if you don't have, if you're not looking right now, I'm always willing to be a resource for everybody. So thank you all, and thank you ASAE for having me.
Thanks so much, Sam. That was awesome. Like he said, you can click on his email here, or if you navigate back to the homepage and check the Oasis LMS tile, Sam's email is also there, and you can drop a business card on the tile if you're hoping to connect with him. Or when the poll pops up in a second, just include your information there. So thank you so much, Sam. I know you got a ton of questions to go through at the end there, but you absolutely killed it. It was very interesting. I haven't got to see kind of the back end of how Oasis works yet. So that was our second last session for today, and I will see everyone back in about 15 minutes for our last session of day 1.